Henry V is the new King of England, and his lords and the authorities of the church advise him that France belongs to him, and he should claim it. The messenger from France comes with a box of treasure for the new king, but the treasure is nothing but a box of tennis balls. The Dauphin, the Prince of France, sent them as a joke about Henry's wild days as a prince, and taunting Henry says that he is unfit to rule even England, let alone France. Henry says he'll change the tennis balls for cannonballs, and tells France to prepare for war. Henry's old friends from Eastcheap get ready to join the fight, all except Falstaff, who is very sick. As they prepare for departure, Hostess quickly tells Falstaff has just died, that the king hath killed his heart. Henry's new friends aren't doing too well either. Since he's stopped associating with his Eastcheap common friends, he's become friends with nobles, 3 of whom have been spying for France. They are all executed. The French royalty discuss whether they should be concerned about this English invasion. The Dauphin is fearless, but the king is wary of Henry inheriting Edward III's strength. The English army attacks the city of Harfleur. Henry encourages the troops. Fluellen pushes the reluctant commoners into the fray, but doesn't mind a lengthy conversation with other generals far from the fighting himself. When the city is breached, Henry gives a speech asking the governor to have mercy on his own people. If the city surrenders, everyone will be safe. Not a hair of their heads or a penny of their property will be touched. But if they try to defend themselves, the English army will spare no brutality in their destruction. The governor surrenders. After the battle, Bardolph steals some valuables from a church and is caught and sentenced to death for robbing the city. Pistol asks Fluellen to speak to the king on Bardolph's behalf, but Fluellen refuses, and Henry hears of Bardolph's crime only after he's hanged. While it is difficult for the king to see a friend of his youth swinging from a tree, he speaks to everyone about how important it is to treat the people of France as their own people, and denounces Bardolph for his crimes. Catherine, the Princess of France, knows that if Henry wins this war, she will marry him, and so she asks her Lady Alice to teach her some English. The results are hilarious and occasionally a bit scandalous, as some of the English words sound dirty to the French ear. The English army is having a hard go of it, with bad rations, terrible weather, and widespread sickness, but despite their difficulties, they prepare to meet the French army for one giant battle. The night before, Henry walks through the camp, speaking with his soldiers, encouraging them, congratulating them. Later in the night, he borrows a cloak from one of his generals and goes through the camp in this disguise, hearing what they really think. Sometimes this is encouraging. Pistol says the king has a heart of gold, but some soldiers say the whole war is the king's fault, and that if they die, it's the king's fault too. Henry even gets in a heated argument and spends the rest of the night disenchanted with the glories of kingship. In the morning, the sheer numbers of the French army dampen the English morale, but Henry gives a great speech about honor and brotherhood and the English national pride, and by the end of it, he's telling everyone that they should only fight if they really want to, and everyone else should go home. And through the speech, everyone stays excited and ready to fight. The French herald comes again and again to ask if Henry will surrender and ask for ransom. But Henry says his hacked body is the only ransom the French will ever get from him. And so they fight. The battle is heavy and bloody and ugly on both sides. Henry is especially distraught when the French kill all the boys, against the rules of war, and in return, he has all the French prisoners killed. When the herald comes again, he yells that there will be no more ransom, but the herald says, "The day is yours." The French have lost the battle and humbly ask to recover the bodies of their dead. The numbers after the battle are unbelievable. 20,000 dead French, only a little over 24 English. Henry says, "God fought for us," and forbids anyone to boast about this victory. The kings of France and England meet to discuss the details of the peace, and Henry insists that marrying Catherine is his greatest desire in the treaty. While the King of France and Henry's officials discuss the agreement, Catherine and Henry banter about love, and by the time her father has returned, they have reached an agreement. And the King of France blesses their union, praying that peace will come from their love. And peace does, but for a short time, because Henry soon dies, and his child, Henry VI, will lose everything his father won.